Okay, so alcohol withdrawal, what you really need to know before you stop. So this video is before you stop, getting you prepared, having you understand what's coming and getting ready for it. Separate video on if you're actually in it and easing you through that process. So what you need to know about withdrawal before you stop drinking, before you go to a detox or a rehab or a hospital or try a home detox. So firstly, how bad the withdrawal is going to be is going to depend a lot. It's very different for everybody and everybody. So if it really depends on a number of different factors, like how the intensity of how much you've been drinking, how long you've been drinking for, like, so let's put it into two neat categories to kind of make it easier and then look at each of those categories. So say you're a regular drinker and say you drink a couple of bottles a night, maybe more, you only drink in the evenings, but what we do know is you are going to suffer some degree of withdrawal because your blood alcohol level is never actually reaching zero. So if you're somebody who just drinks heavily at night but doesn't drink during the day, then you're still susceptible to withdrawal symptoms because your body's actually you do have a physiological addiction to alcohol. And that's why you get the cravings at 5 o'clock every night. And that's why it kicks in, because you actually do, your body's accustomed to having alcohol in it all the time. So you are going to experience withdrawal symptoms. So let's say you're not somebody who drinks all day, you just drink heavily at night. So now the severity, again, is also going to depend if you've been drinking like this for 6 months, for 6 years, it's going to vary. But you need to get ready for the fact that it could be quite painful when you stop. And if you think that because you don't drink all day, you're not going to get withdrawals, you could be very wrong. So get prepared. First step, really simple, go and see a doctor. Go and see a doctor. It's very unsafe to stop cold turkey. You can have a seizure and die. What happens in the brain, the GABA, the glutamine coming completely unleveled, imbalanced, you can have a seizure and die. So if you are thinking of stopping drinking, first thing you need to know is go and see a doctor, talk with them about, or an alcohol specialist, that would be ideal. Even a clinical psychologist with an expertise in alcoholism, but you're going to need to see a doctor in terms of a medical doctor for the actual detox. And together you can determine whether you're going to need a facilitated detox in the hospital or whether you can do it from home. If you're going to be able to do it from home, then you're going to need a benzo, Valium, Xanax, that type of thing. I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing, I'm not giving you any recipe for a home detox. I'm just going to tell you the steps you need to take to be prepared for a home detox. If you're drinking heavily every night, don't just stop cold turkey. Go and see a doctor. Talk them through the amount that you normally drink and have a benzo ready. And book yourself in with an addiction specialist to look at ongoing sobriety. Lots of videos here about, staying sober, but for now we're just talking about staying stopped. So that's if you're somebody that just drinks during the night. If you drink all day, every day, whatever amount, your body is really physiologically and psychologically addicted to alcohol. You need to get ready for the worst of a detox. I'm going to talk you through the stages. Can be really tricky, and I'm going to do another video of when you're actually in it, how you can soften the pain. But what you need to be ready for is the acute withdrawal symptoms and the PAWS, post-acute withdrawal symptoms. So we're talking the first symptoms are going to last 3 to 10 days. Second lot of symptoms up to 6 months. So I don't want to scare anyone away from getting into sobriety because this is the best thing you're ever going to do. And right now, the damage that if you were drinking all day, every day, the damage that you're doing, and maybe throughout the night, hey, That was me. I had bottles under the bed. I drank, you know, vodka straight from the bottle. No judgment, no judgment. Let's just talk really practically about what's coming next. Brace yourself, you know, do have some family or friend support ready. Do not for a single second think that you can just lock yourself in the room and you're going to be okay. You can do that if you're coming off heroin and crack cocaine. It's going to be pretty painful, going to be pretty yucky. You're not going to put your life at risk. When you are coming off alcohol, if you're coming off a benzo, they are the only two drugs that can kill you when you withdraw suddenly without medical support. So don't think that this is a soft drug and you can just man up, you know, drink some concrete and harden the F up. If you are coming cold turkey off alcohol and you drank all day, every day, or something close to that, then you need to get ready. Firstly, go and see a doctor. If you drank all day, every day, most likely you are going to need a hospital detox or a rehab or a medical detox facility, because it is rough. And trust me, you want to, I know, like, honestly, when I first would go on these drinking binges and I wanted to detox, I didn't want to go to a hospital. I didn't want to go to a detox. I didn't want to spend the money. I didn't want to go through the shame. I just wanted to just like get it done so I could like pop out the other side and get back to normal life. But I didn't know what kind of pain was coming. So I would really say, if you can get medical support for this, if you just disappear for 4 days and go to a hospital and tell your friend you had gastro, whatever it is, really my advice is to get a medically supported detox. If you drink most of the time every day, or if you have been on an alcoholic binge for more than 5 days, drinking, you know, over 3/4 a bottle of vodka a day or equivalent, it's going to be really painful. So my advice to you is really do get the medical support. Here's what's coming. So you've been drinking all day, every day, potentially throughout the night, and you stop. So if you've been to a doctor and you're doing it at home, you've obviously got a benzo, some kind of Valium, then this is why I say you really should go to a hospital or detox as well, because having 1 or 2 Valiums throughout the day is just going to take the edge off the pain. In the first, they're going to kick in after about 10 to 24 hours after your last drink. Sometimes it actually happens quite suddenly. It can be like the morning of the drink. By that night, you're in withdrawals. And what you'll experience when you're in withdrawals are, so there's the delirium tremors, DTs, that's the shaking. So your brain does that. It actually has something to do with the limited REM. We think we sleep better when we're drinking, but we're not. We're actually missing out on REM, and our brain is struggling. Basically, your brain is like, this is the kickback from your brain, you know? So you might have, look at your blood pressure, if you got it at home, look at your blood pressure, look at your pulse rate. It all looks fine, you know? But internally, it feels like hell because you've really upset your brain, the GABA and the glutamine. So what's going to happen is we're going to have the DTs, which is the shaking, the inability to sleep. Feels like your kind of hot and cold regulator is completely out. So you might, like, I get like my head is really hot and my feet are really cold, and I'm sweating, but I've got goosebumps at the same time. Like, again, this is why you want medical support on this, because it can be so painful. The shaking, the anxiety, like your heart just racing. The hot and the cold. If you're like me and you really drank a lot, so say I'd been on like a 2-week bender drinking a bottle of vodka a day, then I would get auditory and visual hallucinations as well. So hearing things, you kind of know, like it's like there's a conversation in the other room or there's music playing next door. I used to have this experience where I'd sleep with earplugs. I'd put my earplugs in and I could hear classical music. and I'd take them out again and the classical music would stop. And it was all hallucinations. Hearing conversations in the next room that are not happening, seeing things. I see like little spots, like almost a little bit like an LSD type experience. And that's when my eyes are open. When my eyes are shut, it's like this movie screen of, sometimes it's not super upsetting, you know, sometimes it's just like really random things, like I put the television station on a really random channel, something really random, but it's really real. So closing my eyes, there's no reprieve from it. So this is why you want medication, because, and in this stage, you're in real danger of a seizure and a heart attack. So if you're getting visual, auditory hallucinations, get to a doctor. Do yourself, like, go into hospital, let them give you a high dose of benzos. You can sleep, and you can sleep through the most painful. Because if you don't get support, you're going to be shaking, you're going to be hot and cold, you can be hallucinating, you can go as far as a kind of psychosis. So you're just so confused, you don't know up from down. And that is accompanied by an incredible amount of shame and fear, you know, and the brain will start ruminating. So my advice, if you are a heavy drinker or drugger, is that you just don't do this at home. Do yourself the favor, do yourself the most loving thing, and go and get support. Once you are given, they will give you benzos to come down. You might have other psychotics as well if you experience a level of psychosis, but that's kind of the one thing that will bring you down safely to ensure that you don't get don't have a seizure, don't die, is going to be some type of benzo. And have a look at what country you're doing this into. Different countries have different limits to how much they're going to give you. If you've detoxed a lot before, like if you kind of are going through this process, you get a high tolerance. So like my last detoxes were very painful because I had a tolerance to the benzo, which meant that I couldn't sleep, it wouldn't knock me out. So yeah, try and be as close to one and done as you can be. So, you know, get the support, be ready that it is going to be really painful. It might be vomiting and nausea as well. There's nothing you can do except drink as much fluid as you can, get down healthy meals that don't upset your stomach, so nothing too spicy, nothing too sugary, nothing too oily. Have a cold compress ready, take ibuprofen, but again, I'm recommending that you've gone to the doctor, you've gone somewhere, so you're going to have some type of benzo to keep you safe as you're coming down as well, and something to help you sleep. So again, my biggest advice is get the medical support to do this. Otherwise, it's going to be very painful and it's going to be very dangerous. So really, take it from me. Comment below if you need to. As someone who's been through this experience lots and lots of times and actually risked their life by not seeking medical support, at the very bare minimum, go to a doctor and get a prescription for Valium and sleeping pills at the very minimum.